Hey guys, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ashley Kennedy, and I suffer from multiple sclerosis. Not all the time, but it is definitely a part of my life that has changed a lot of my life. And I wanted to get on this channel and share my experiences and how I've coped with it and the different tips and tricks that I have going through all of it. I have relapse remitting, so it's not all the time, but I do tend to flare up around this time of year. I've been in a pretty big flare since Thanksgiving. I haven't worked since Thanksgiving, and I own a hair salon. I've done hair for about 15 years, and it has been a struggle. You know, it's more of an emotional, mental struggle for me than it is a physical. I've always worked out and kept really good care of myself, and come to find out when I went all through this, the neurologist did say that's probably part of the reason why I never realized that I've actually had this for about 10 years prior to my diagnosis. So I'm on here to share, like I said, my daily life and the downs and ups and the ugly, the funny, all the different things about it. And if you're on here, I am here to connect with people who have MS, who know someone with MS, or just want to learn a little bit more about it. So I'm gonna share my story. I hope you listen. I was diagnosed 3 years ago, and it was the most crazy, unimaginable, most devastating thing that I've ever experienced in my life. And I didn't know much about MS, and it was just it was devastating. We'll leave it at that until we'll get a little bit further into it. But I've never really been sick before. I don't catch the flu. I think I had bronchitis I had bronchitis when I was like 12. I have allergies sometimes. Right now I actually do have allergies going on, so I sound a little funny, but like I said, nothing's ever been wrong. I've always eaten well and, taken care of myself physically and worked out and always stuff like that. And I woke up one morning to go to work, and it was the first opening week of my big salon. And I've been going, 12, 14-hour days at, my little shop, and then working late at night. And I just kind of figured I'd run myself to the ground, and that is why I woke up so sick. And I woke up and I was told, I felt fine for the most part. I went to go brush my teeth, and when I bent over, I got like the spins really quick, and I started throwing up. I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm not hungover. And I don't know what else could possibly be going on. So I just kind of, sat on my bed, and I, got dressed and everything, and I was gonna go to work like normal. It was like a Wednesday, and I went to work. I was doing hair, and I had to step away, and I threw up again, and I'm like, it was something's just not right. It's just not right. And one of the girls that was working with me at the time, she still works for me, and she's still here and now taking a lot of my clientele on, so it's a blessing. And the whole team it's been absolutely amazing. The girls have got my back, and it's nice to actually have that. And I told her, I said, I just really don't feel good. I think maybe I'm just really run down, dehydrated maybe. And a new IV bar had just opened up. I don't know if you guys have those in your area or what it is, but you can go and get, if you are hungover, go get a IV bag and get yourself back to life. Or if you're, a super athlete and you just need extra vitamins, or you just want extra vitamins, just go in there. So I went in there, got an IV, and I felt better. I did. And, I walked back to work, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to eat lunch and, get back to normal and do all that. And then I threw up again. I'm like, okay, so like the whole time I'm getting this IV, which is like an hour, I felt fine, and I was getting hydrated, but then it happened again. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just tired and weak, and I didn't know what was going on. So I went home, and I told her, I said, I'm so sorry that, today's like opening day and something's wrong, but I gotta go. So I went home and I laid down, and I felt like a little kid. I had, a trash can next to my bed, and just couldn't stop throwing up no matter what I was doing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't get over this. So I just tried to sleep it off. And 3 days later was Mother's Day, and my family's in town and everything. We were supposed to go to dinner. And they called me and they said, how you doing? I said, nah, I don't know. I'm just still not feeling right. I'm gonna have to, call this one and I can't come to dinner. I might have something contagious and don't want to get grandpa sick, and all those things. So I was laid in bed, and a little while later, my good friend Vanessa called me, and she said, hey, superwoman who never gets sick, it's like day 3 and you're not getting any better. Do you think maybe you need a doctor? And I said, you know what, for the first time in my life, I'm going to completely agree with you and say, yes, I do think I need a doctor. I don't think I need my primary though. I think something is actually wrong with me. So we went to the Mayo Clinic here in Jacksonville, Florida, super close to the house, and she came and picked me up. We went there and went to the emergency room, and they hooked me up to an IV bag. So obviously I'm still dehydrated, didn't know what was going on, and they told me they were gonna give me a CT scan. I said, okay. So they put me in the CT scanner. They come back a little while later with the results, and they said, we are going to have to do an MRI. We saw some things on the CT that are concerning, and we want to know a little bit more about what's going on. Still not telling me like what maybe might be wrong with me or anything like that. And so I'm like, oh, I'm a little concerned at this point, right? So about an hour and a half later, they take me and put me in the MRI machine, like an hour. Crazy, right? But I mean, if you have MS, you've been going through this and you get it. Sometimes it's 2 hours. And I get back and they read me the results from there. They, put them on the computer screen in our room, and they said, this is your brain. And then my brain had big white spots all over it. And they said, these are lesions on your brain. This lesion here is what's making your balance off, and this one here is why you're losing vision and like color in your vision, and this is why you're weak, and this is why you won't stop throwing up, and all these different things. I'm like, it's a little concerning. So I sat there and they're reading all this, and they do some physical tests on me to test my strength and my balance and things like that. And at this point, there's probably, I don't know, probably 5. I mean, it's Mayo Clinic. They've got like 5 neurologists in the room and a whole team of training and all the nurses and things. And I said, so what do we do? What's the plan? How do we, are we gonna fix this? Like, how do we fix it? And they said, well, we have more tests that we have to run, and so we are going to admit you into the hospital. I'm like, wait. I've never been sick before. I don't want to stay here. Somebody has to tell me a reason of why I have to stay here. And this neurologist in the back, he's a super nice guy. He's the quietest one of them all. And out of nowhere, he was like, MS. I'm like, what? Like multiple sclerosis? Like the brain disease kind of thing? And he's back there and he just kind of shook his head yes. And his team kind of just looked at him, like, I don't think we were supposed to tell her that yet. We have so many other tests to run. And I said, okay, well, what happens if I leave? They said, we don't know. You are progressing very quickly based on your symptoms and the lesions that are in your brain. So we need to do more. We're going to admit you in the hospital. You're probably going to be here about 5 days. And you're going to do another MRI on your spine, spinal tap, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So we go upstairs. I am in the neurology ward, and they have me on a bed. The neurology ward, I was still able to walk, right? My balance was a little off, but I wasn't that clumsy. And they've got me hooked up to a bed, and they start, I was major headache, and they ended up putting me to sleep basically with Benadryl and a mix of some other drugs because I couldn't get the pain to go away. So they put me to sleep and let me sleep everything off for a little bit. And that was probably more terrifying than anything else that I went through while I was there, because I've never been that stoned before. Whatever they gave me shut my body down before it shut my brain off. So I'm terrified. They're trying to take more blood. I'm like, no, you can't touch me. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And everyone's like, okay, don't touch her. Just let her sleep. So I went to sleep. And when I woke up, they came in. They did a spinal tap, which took an hour and a half. Terrifying, right? Like I'm just like, I'm hoping somebody's done this before. Everything was fine. Everything was completely fine. And then they put me in the MRI machine again. So they came in, wheeled me out, back in the MRI. They do a scan on my cervical spine. And came back, more lesions on my spine. They said, they go ahead then after they read all the results. It was like day 2. And they told me, we do have more things to do, but we are about 90% sure that you do have MS. And I said, what does that mean now? Does everything have to change? Am I okay? Is it fixable? Am I going to be in a wheelchair? Am I going to be able to walk? Am I going to work? I've worked so hard to get where I am today, and to hear something so devastating and not really understand what's going on, I just didn't really know what to do. So, I stayed there. They said they're going to start some steroids, which are awful. Oh my God. I actually have been in a big flare since Thanksgiving and not working or anything like that. And every time I go through the steroids, I kind of forget. I remember that it hurts, the healing from the steroids more so than the actual MS, honestly, for me. And it was, go through that. My veins weren't taking it very well, so I'm blowing a vein every day. And they're trying to leave the IVs in, and it's not working, and they're bubbling up. My veins are closing down. Like, great, whatever is going on with me is I'm broken. And it was a very emotional time in my life. And when they sat there and they told me that I have this, I sat there and I cried. I got my doctor on my right, my mom's on my left, and I looked at my mom and I just said, I've got to change everything. Now I thought it was me against the world. Now it's me against myself. I have to keep myself even healthier, and I have to try and figure out how to cope with this, because there's not really a book about it. I mean, there's forums and people talk about it, but everybody talks about the bad. And I know I'm talking about the bad right now, but this was in the beginning. I have come so far in my mental state with it. So this is year 3 now, and this flare I just went through was the biggest that I've been through. The first year I did relapse over and over again. So I relapsed remitting. I relapsed over and over again. And the doctors kept looking at me. They're like, come on, you like, what is going on? You can't be in here every 2-3 months doing this, the steroids. And I was refusing medicine. I did not want to get on a disease modifying medicine at all. They're debilitating. It's, freaking, the side effects of just the medicine alone can take away more of your life than the MS. So I said, I relapse remitting, if I get it under control with stress and things like that, I can take care of this. I can do this. I've taken good care of myself, and I'm very strong and minded about everything. I know I can tackle this. So I told myself, if I can go 1 year, so by the time I got to the end of that year, I said, if I can go 1 year with no relapses, I'm not getting on medicine, because that means I've got this under control. And it was about a year. It was a year and like 2 months until my next relapse, which was this time last year. And I put it, I said, it's probably stress. I was going through a lot, and work's crazy. End of year is always a lot for everybody with work and everything like that. So I just said, okay, I'm going to do the same thing this next year. And I'm going to do the steroids, get it under control, get my life back, be normal, not worry about anything, right? So now that's the end of year 2. And now this whole year's been crazy. We've all been in 2020 together. It's been the most insane year of our lives. And, stress has been a little bit different. It's the first time in my life that I was worried that my job was it's not essential. We thought it was. Everybody's got to get their hair done. You want to look good, feel good. And the country took my job away, like it did to a lot of people. And I was devastated then. Again, now it is about my job. It's about the girls that work for me. It's everybody's lives and safety and things like that. And, I stayed home, and luckily, fortunately, my husband does have an essential job. So he works for himself as well, and he kept his business running. He was busy. But then I'm stressed. I'm watching the news. Am I going to get back to work? Am I going to do all these things? And everything was just crazy. And we went back to work May 11th. I believe in Florida is when they allowed us to go back to work. And we get back, now my adrenaline's crazy, right? You gotta get back to work. We gotta get grinding, like make sure we're making money, and like get the salon going. The clients are happy and they're safe and doing all the things. Well, then I felt a couple weeks ago, so I would say about 6 weeks ago, my bottom of my feet were a little numb. Now, I don't know if this is for everyone, but most of the time when my MS flares up, it is on one side more so of my body than the other, if even so at the same time. So I woke up one morning and the bottom of my feet were numb, probably like from the middle of my feet to my heels. I've been working my butt off, and I totally just joked it up to be, oh God, it's gotta be my back. I'm standing, 12 hours a day, and it's crazy. I probably have a pinched nerve or something. I've been doing this a long time, and it's probably just something like that. So I let it go. And then it was the weekend, I'm having drinks with my friends, we're hanging out and just moving into this new place and doing all that. Well, then Tuesday morning, I wake up, I'm numb from the waist down. What? That's never happened. My face has gone numb, and my hands and everything like that. And so I'm like, well, this is kind of crazy. I've never not been able to feel anything from the waist down. And I didn't lose function. I was able to walk. I was tired though, and My legs felt like they weighed 50 pounds. Like, oh my God, this is insane. But because I had not been on medicine for so long and needed any steroids, I decided I am going to see if I can get through this with no steroids, and I'm going to do it all by myself, right? Don't do it. I mean, maybe it might wear off for some people, but it didn't. I went about 3 weeks before I sent this like emergency email to my neurologist. I'm like, hey, so I thought I could do this by myself, and I'm not doing so well. Now it's like creeping in my left arm. I've lost strength in my hands to like do normal things, and that has never happened before either. So I go in, you know, he's like, all right, go into the emergency room. This neurologist is going to be there. They're going to get you in, get you a scan, and see what's going on. Well, they scanned me this time. Now, my first scan, they found a lot of lesions. They did, you know, I've never been scanned before, so they saw old ones, the new active ones, what was going on. But any scan since then has only been maybe like 2 to 3. And they're like, not a big deal. And they're like, doesn't look like you've had any relapses in between. So these are just 2 new ones, but you're going to be fine. So, okay. Well, this time, he comes in and he's, you know, I asked him, I was like, well, can I see the scan? You know, I haven't seen my brain in a while. I want to check it out, see what's going on in there. And he pulls up the screen, right? He's going, you know, they scan like this way. So he's doing it, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. We got to 14 before we got to the left side of my brain, and then my spine, right? So by the time we're done, we're like at like 21. So we just kind of stopped counting. I'm like, okay, so this is probably why I am as bad a shape as I am. And it was, he's like, yeah, you know, and it was really nice though. There was no patronizing. He didn't get on to me about not being on any kind of disease modifying medicine or anything like that. And, but I looked at him and I said, so I think I need to meet with the team to talk about medicine. I don't take medicine, right? I never really needed it. You know, Dayquil if I needed, or NyQuil if you're like a little bit sick, maybe. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't ever get sick. I don't need anything. So I've been terrified because this medicine, like I said, can be so debilitating compared to your actual MS. And that is not something you want to deal with. And I was so scared, and I wasn't emotionally ready, right, to get on medicine before this. And now I know that I know the medicine has changed. So I start medicine soon, and we'll get to that. But I look at him, and he's like, yeah, you know, I think now's the time. I think it might be good for you to try it out or something. I said, okay. So I met with the team, and the nurse practitioners, like not the doctor, but might as well be the doctor, but she's just, you know, MS specialist and everything. And God, I love her. She's so nice and so enthusiastic and positive, which is kind of like it's my speed. You know, if you come in and everyone's just like, me, like you're basically gonna die and have no life for the rest of your life, then it's not a good response for me. I can't live like that. Gotta have a little positive and like joking around at some point. I know it's scary, but if you don't laugh, you cry, and I wasn't in the mood to cry. So I'm talking to her, and I said, you know, I joined a forum, and people have been talking a lot about this drug called Ocrevus. And I don't know what kind of medicines you guys are on, or how long you've been on them or anything like that. This will be my first one. I do start January 4th for my first infusion, and they split into 2. So I'll have it January 4th and then on January 18th. And all I've heard side effects is I could possibly be like really, really, really tired 3 to 4 days within 3 to 4 days after in that time span. So I'm like, maybe like the most tired I've ever been in my whole life. I'm like, well, I have MS. I'm pretty tired. I just don't show anybody that I'm tired. You know, it's the invisible disease. And it's like, you look healthy, you look happy, everything looks good. I'm like, yeah. Nobody knows that people are like actually maybe not good people until they show that they're not good people. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. And not saying I'm not a good person. That came out kind of silly, but but you know, you just like, I'm not one to show any kind of failure or any kind of defeat. And MS does make you feel so defeated sometimes, and like you can't actually live a normal life, or how much harder it is for you compared to other people to do stuff, but you don't show it, and you push and you push and you push. And now I'm ready to get some help. I'm looking forward to the medicine. I'm terrified. I'm not scared about it. You know, they do the whole JC virus testing to make sure you don't end up with PML, which is, if you don't know what that is, if you do get it, it is a very fatal disease, and it is like 90% chance it's going to kill you. It's a brain disease. So that's what was scaring me out of getting on medicine in the past. So now I looked at all the different medicines, and the scariest part about this is maybe malignant breast cancer. I think that's fixable, kind of ish, more so than a brain disease. So that's what I told the doctor. I said, she said, do you feel comfortable with this one? I said, well, when I've looked at the side effects of everything, I can go to the plastic surgeon and just have him scrape out all my breast tissue. I already have implants, and maybe just attack that before it even happens. But they don't sell brains at Target, and like the plastic surgeon's not going to just give me a new brain. You can't fix that, or an immune system. So hopefully this medicine slows it down. But yeah, so that's gonna be, I'll probably do a live or something like that on January 4th. I don't know, I think the infusion's like 3 or 4 hours, and my mom's gonna be there with me. She's gonna hang out the whole time. So I told her to bring snacks and a pillow and a blanket, and they'll give us like, warm blankets and stuff like that. But I don't know how to feel about it, and I don't know what kind of stuff you guys are on or how you deal with your daily things. And but I wanted to create this channel to open a talking space that's not just negative all the time. A lot of, I get on there and I look at different people on stage or podcasts and stuff like that, and everybody's just talking about how bad this is. And it is bad. I'm not saying that it's not at all. I'm dealing with it. And I know now that I can't do this by myself, but it's very lonely. When I've been out of work since Thanksgiving, and my husband, he works so hard, and it's hard for him to, he can't really be home or anything like that. And, my friends help me a lot, and, my family's nearby, so that I get help with them too. And, he helps me when he's home, but it's a lot to deal with. And, when you feel like there's nothing that you can do because your own body is attacking you, what do you do? I could sit down and, I don't know, let it take over, but what is that going to do? Instead, my dad said, go get your medical marijuana license and see if that helps. It does. Not so much with the edibles. I don't know. I don't do well with those. I get it's like a little too much, but with that, I do that. And I got some tips and tricks for things that have helped me with the steroid infusions anyways, and how to heal those. Everyone says, that you get so swollen, or they feel like they gain weight. And I basically the whole time I am on the steroids, I'm just like green juice, like constant fluids and everything like that. And just really high potassium foods like that. So you're flushing your whole system out, because if not, you can go from looking like yourself to unrecognizable to your own self, because you're already going through this and all the pain and all the different things that you're dealing with. And you look in the mirror and you've got steroid moon face, and everything's just bloated, and everything hurts, and you don't know how to deal with it. And yeah, it's definitely a lot. And just trying to eat healthy things and stuff like that. But that's part of the coping for me, is being able to still exercise when I feel well enough. That is, I think that mind-body connect and keeping things moving helps a lot. Because other than that, I ask all the time, why me? Why did I get this? The funny part to me is, I don't know if your doctor said this to you or not, and I said, is this genetic? And they said, no, but if someone in your family has it, there's a possibility someone else in your family has it. I'm gonna go with, I might need to look at a dictionary and see what the word genetic means. Hereditary, genetic, something like that. So come to find out, my mom's half-sister has MS. I never knew that. Not that I thought I would have to look out for it for the rest of my life, because again, it's not hereditary or genetic. So they're like, oh, it just happens sometimes. It's a trigger. I don't know. Could be anything. I honestly think I did it to myself. So I think my type A and my high-strung nonstop all the time, I think I did it. I don't know. So that's why I thought I could fix it, and I could try and change my stress and change different things and all that. But I can't change the weather, and that is part of symptomatic, days and different things. And when it flares up a little bit, if I work out too hard, I used to work out super, super hard. now I do Pilates, which I absolutely enjoy because it's so less, I don't want to say invasive, but it's so much easier to do because I'm kind of just rolling around on a mat, but it's so good for your body and everything. My doctors were so happy to hear that I was still doing stuff like that. Because I did yoga for a long time too. I get vertigo really easy. So I stopped doing certain inversions or twists or different things like that. I would just go like, almost like black out and to have to sit down and go like break out in a full sweat. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And that was happening before I had MS. So I had no idea what was wrong with me. That was apparently part of it. But yeah, I don't know, this crazy disease. It's just, I don't know, it's a part of life for me anyways, and you and someone you know. And I think, you know, another part was, is anybody going to love me like this now? You know, and going through those crazy ups and downs. It is crazy. Ugh, I just keep saying crazy because it is crazy. Because why did this happen to us? Like, why is our immune system treating us like shit when we aren't doing anything wrong, you know? And so when I met my husband, I was scared. You know, I was scared to tell him. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I really like this guy, and we seem to be getting along really well. So if this goes any further, then I should probably tell him that sometimes I get a little sick and just have to like take time off and sleep a lot and like can't carry my own purse or anything like that. And so about 2 weeks in, I told him, and he just looked at me and he's like, okay, is that it? I was like, oh, well, you know, I get like cold sores sometimes, just like from the sun or like stress or anything like that. And he's like, cool. Anything else? Like, nope, that's it. He said, well, my uncle actually has MS, and, you know, so we're pretty, you know, my family's familiar with it and everything, and I'm not scared and I'm here for it. So we'll just see what happens. If you need help, let me know and everything. And thank God I told him, because it was like, oh God, probably a month later. It might have been like 3 weeks later, I went into a flare. That was my one last year. And he was just, I mean, we weren't really living together. He was with me all the time, but he was okay with it. Everything was fine. I tried to hide it. I did the whole like leave the IV in my arm. It was like during Christmas, so we're having to go to like Christmas parties and stuff like that. So just leave the IV in, throw a big sweater on. Nobody knows I'm drinking anyways, and it doesn't matter. And that was exhausting. It's so exhausting. And I've been better this time, where I kind of, you know, I'm actually taking my downtime, like really trying to relax and not stress myself out too much. But again, with the way 2020 is going in business, the only thing I think about is work. So I gotta try and change that a little bit and find something else to do. But that's about it for this session, for this video. I hope that some of you could relate or learn something